Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today, my good friend Grace Hom is with us, and it's a pre-Thanksgiving Eve call or show. And today, we're going to be talking about enjoying freedom from pain and painful conditions. And what if pain is a way to finding your own inner freedom and truly being the sovereign being that you are? We're going to talk about that. And Grace is going to address some pain and painful conditions such as financial loss and brokenheartedness, not only on the physical level, but also on the emotional and psycho-spiritual level, so that you get to realize a greater freedom in just being yourself. And what if pain is a way for your body to hold space for you to remember your power, your joy, and your inner knowing? And when you're out of alignment with your spirit, there's pain showing up in your life and in your body. And Grace addresses pain issues from a very different angle than most healers. Not only does she look at the karmic, past life, and intergenerational patterns, but also the subconscious and hidden limiting beliefs that create problems in our lives. And so you will not only be experiencing freedom from pain, but also be free to acknowledge your own knowing and your inner wisdom. You get to embrace who you are as a sovereign being of magnitude. So I'm excited. And for those of you who may not know Grace, Grace is an alchemist, a medical intuitive, and speaker with over 20 years of combined experience in healthcare and alternative healing. She works with science, spirituality, and intuition to facilitate her clients to release painful chronic health challenges by playing with energy, which often triggers her clients to yawn and laugh. You know me, I do the yawning thing. Thus releasing the densities that hold them back from health and wholeness. And Grace is skilled in holding a safe space for deep wisdom to show up, which allows for the hidden intergenerational karmic and past life issues to show up and be released. Her gentle presence, intuitive knowing, and powerful activations often awaken the intuitive gifts and healing abilities in others, making her a well-sought-after mentor to light workers and healers. And Grace was on earlier this year in August, and maybe even earlier, I don't even remember anymore. But I'm so glad that Grace is back with us today. So Grace, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me back. Oh, I'm so happy I get to play with you, especially the day before Thanksgiving, where everybody is like, oh my God, well, all the problem people will show up to create pain.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us today in this Thanksgiving Eve show. I know how busy you are right now. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today because your time is precious. And so Grace, I want to just get into it, about the whole pain thing, because, let's face it, we've all experienced pain, painful conditions. And when you say, what if pain is a way to finding your own inner freedom and truly being the sovereign being that you are? It's like, what?
I know, huh? It's like, don't just like, oh yeah, take aspirin. Take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. What a different response.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so I found, and the thing is, I realized I am really good with helping people to release pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I never intentionally work directly on people's pain. I work on all the emotional issues they come to me for, right? Because most people have already bought into the idea that, oh, well, I can take aspirin for that, ibuprofen for this, I have prescriptions for that. So they never even think to ask me about pain. And I took care of the subconscious issues, the emotional issues, and then they report, oh my God, my back, it was hurting me so much. Now it's gone. So I'm like, oh my God. So pain then is always holding space to let you know where you have made choices against your own spirit. And where you are not listening to you because pain is always communication from your spirit and your own heart. And in everyday language, it's no surprise. People say I have a heartache, I have this, and then after saying they have a heartache, they would start having stomach ulcers. And if they don't take care of the heartache, there's going to be stomach ulcers. There's going to be lots of different aches and pains throughout the body. So the pain is always a reminder from your body, from your spirit and soul that says, hey, let's look at where I have given up power to someone else. Let's look at where I may have chose against myself. Let's look at where I have bought into limiting thoughts that keep on creating my body to create pain, to remind me where I have given up on myself. You know, the long-term heartache creates a lot of pain in our upper back. It's like, it's easy to blame it on work, it's easy to blame on everything else. But because of the part of the body that it's in, it's really holding space for you to remember your own heart, your own dreams. Where have you abandoned yourself and your dreams? Because your spine is such a supportive structure. Without your spine, everything else goes, isn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so about alignment, right? Alignment with yourself, alignment with spirit, alignment with wholeness. And where any of that is out of alignment, creates aches and pains to remind you, hey, look at the choices you're making. And don't blame yourself, everybody, because I have aches and pains sometimes too, like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't always so conscious. It just isn't. And that's where, by just allowing pain to speak to us, then all the subconscious stuff comes up. And all the places where you allow for pain to be holding a space of wisdom for yourself, then the wisdom arises. And if you allow yourself to invite, where have I forgotten about my own joy and just fell into what the world tells me I should do? Oh, I remember back in the days, I was in my late 20s. I was in so much pain. I was trying to fit in and do my work in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I decided, hey, maybe I shouldn't go to my doctor. It was easy for me to go to my doctor and get a prescription because I work in a hospital. My doctor is there. So it's like, oh, I'll make my appointment before, after work, and, not a hassle. And then one day I decided, hey, let's try something different. I went to an energy healer. And that lady told me, she asked me this question that like made me cry for 3 weeks at least. She says, you're not even 30 and you have the body of a 60, 70-year-old. And I'm like, what the F? I didn't never go back to her again because I didn't like to be told that. But when I look back at that time in my life, it's true. I was in a lot of pain. I was probably in the first stages of fibromyalgia and many other things because my regular doctor just says, oh, it's stress, take this. It's not cancer. Here you go. I mean, that's how healthcare deal with things. Oh, it's not cancer. You should be grateful. Take an aspirin. Here you go. And I wish that energy healer communicated things a little differently so that I would look into what's going on. But,
It is what it is, right?
it is what it is. And it's like, wow, it is true when you're so out of alignment. And I just remember the enormous amount of pain, and nobody can really diagnose except to give me antidepressants and antidepressants and
Mm-hmm.
antidepressants. It's like, I'm not always depressed, I'm just in pain. Like, it didn't make sense to me.
Right.
But that's what made me search for my own answers. And look where I'm at now. I don't think I have the body of a 60-year-old now.
No,
I
definitely
actually
not.
I actually looked younger than when I was, I don't know, than 10 years ago. So, yeah, I had to learn this the hard way. So I'm not just saying, oh, freedom from pain, you're not going to be in pain. No, I get it. It's such a deep inner journey.
Yeah.
To see all the places where I chose against myself where I betray myself in order to look successful to everybody else. Because, I wasn't a slacker. I worked really hard. I get to go to work in this place called Executive Plaza of the hospital every day, a place where people would be like, oh my goodness, you made it. You're an executive plaza. I was only an assistant to an executive. I wasn't the executive, but still,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so to everybody else in the world, I somehow have kind of like made it because get to be this assistant to an executive and be in this executive whatever space and blah blah blah. But if it's not you, it's not you. That's the thing. So your body is saying, hey, it's not you. If it's not you, it's not you. There's better choices.
So the question comes, where are you, meaning you, everybody who's watching or listening, where are you out of alignment? And so when you're talking about being out of alignment, Grace, out of alignment, it's one of those words that has always triggered me, and I haven't always liked it. I'm getting better with it, but what does being in alignment mean to you?
Congruence, resonance,
Mm-hmm.
truth, a flow of joy. Yeah, when you're in that space where, like, people talk about in alignment with your truth or your higher self,
Mm-hmm.
there's just a sense of calm and peace, no force. Things just flow with ease. I never have to force things to show up for me. Oh, like creating this package. It was pretty simple, although I always do things the last minute. But I thought, oh wow. But it took so many years of healing people to realize, wow, so that's what's behind all these pain conditions, right? Because no one ever came to me and said, can you help me with this shoulder I had surgery on? They don't say that at all because shoulder pain, they already have surgery on.
Mm-hmm.
So they already bought in the point of view that it's the surgeon's responsibility to make them painless. It's the doctor's responsibility. So they have already made up their mind that it's someone else's responsibility to alleviate their pain. And because it requires surgery, then somehow in people's minds, they don't think about what else is going on that created this need for surgery, right? And so when I work with people and the layers and layers of heartache, and finally they're able to say, I forced myself to stay in this relationship for too long where I've given up me, given up myself, given up my dreams, make someone else's dreams come true. So I feel used, I feel abused. And yes, and they're on antidepressants. And that's what they come to me for, because it's okay to ask for help about that.
Mm-hmm.
But all the many, many layers behind the pain, none of us were ever taught that, actually. I was never taught that I'm out of alignment with my spirit when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I was given antidepressants. I probably could, have been given, the diagnosis of fibromyalgia or something like that, because I was in so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I just didn't keep on going back to my doctor, because she thought that all the antidepressants would help me out.
Yep, that's why I stopped long ago to go to the
Yeah.
doctor.
Were you given that too?
Oh yes, all sorts of, I was always, oh, you're just depressed, or you're just stressed, or you're just this, or.
Oh my God. Yeah. So everybody, wow. So thank God, right? Thank God we have this group, so you all know that whatever stage you are on in this journey, that what is waiting for you is better than what is happening to you now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're willing to just look at all the places of pain and see it as your body's own wisdom communicating to you something unique to you, then there won't be, well, for me, it took a while to not need antidepressants, because you don't just take yourself off and say, oh, heck with that. right? It took a while to work through those things. It took a while to divorce myself from that whole train of thought from the medical community because I worked there. So it took a little while to have that divorce be complete. Mental divorce, emotional divorce
Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah,
yeah.
I never took the antidepressants. It's like no. And I took half of one once and it's like, oh my God, never again. I was like so out of it. And it's like, I can't do this, you know? So I was like, that was it. And it's like, nope, not for me.
Oh, you're so smart. God, that's good. I mean, that's smart of you to own your knowing. And I used to force myself to make things work.
Mm-hmm.
I remember complaining to my doctor that this doesn't feel right. She goes, it takes 4 to 6 weeks. You're only taking it for 2 weeks. Then I tell you that. And it's like, wow,
I took it for one morning. It's like, yeah, nope, not for me.
that's so good. My gosh.
But we're all different, right? We're all different. So it's okay.
Hmm.
So we
Well,
have lots of people writing in the chat in case, I don't know if you saw already. Great. So
mhm.
we are going to be taking questions. But I just wanted to get, a feel first before we started on the whole pain thing and about, being in alignment and what that looks like. And so if we're not in alignment, it's about what choices have we made, right? And to not be in alignment, but sometimes we don't even, sometimes we're born with stuff, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So like I'm assuming Mina, she's experiencing Hashimoto's. Was she born with it, or is that something that just came on after being in stress and different experiences and so on? And so, if we're born with things like that, was that a choice that we made to experience that here in this lifetime, or
Mm,
experience
mm.
something?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask. And since so many of these issues are kind of related and kind of not, but I get it. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just seeing where this goes, and I'm thinking, here's the thing. So the most recent findings in science says that our bones, our skeletal system is what is triggered during the fight or flight response. It's not so much the adrenals. And so then it creates our body not being able to absorb the calcium, especially when there's a high level of cortisol. We can absorb the calcium and the minerals to maintain physical health.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple studies, I think, from India that found because bone being more dense holds on to uh, trauma even longer, and also it responds to the fight or flight response. And what this means that for many women who are experiencing bone density loss or teeth and gum issues, it's that you have more cortisol in your body than what your body can handle, and it creates the phosphoric acid, and acid itself erodes bone. So you have teeth sensitivity, which on package A, I have two things for teeth. One is for sensitivity, and one is for toothaches.
Mm-hmm.
All these things are created all these aches and pains in our bodies are created because we can no longer really fight all the external stress, the criticism that we internalize, the pain. So, a different way now to look at menopause and bone density is that women in every culture are burdened with so much, and being in the social issues, the social inequalities in every culture is creating women to have menopause. So it's a socially constructed diagnose that is very real to each woman. I'm not saying that it's not real, but the causes are not that when you age, you're going to be menopausal and you're going to lose this. and that there's a little bit of misogyny in that. It's also so that in a weird way to allow men to validate cheating their wives and and things like that. So if you really look into it, but I'm not gonna, you know,
Yeah.
put all on men because they don't know when they're being controlled by the system. They also don't know. That's the thing,
Right. Makes sense. So
right?
I know that, Caroline has asked a couple of times about the hot flashes, menopause, and that kind of thing. So she has not been having any relief from anything so far this year, it seems like. And I, like I feel for you. But but also about like the digestion, the heartburn, the heart palpitations. So part of like the digestion and heartburn, because most of us who are on these types of calls, we do a lot of energy work, or we've experienced a lot of energy work. We may be energy healers ourselves. We know that when it comes to digestion and heartburn, there's something that we're not, wanting to accept, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know, Caroline, there's a lot that you're not wanting to accept. But I mean, it's still, how can we have ease with the symptoms or the things that are going on with our body, even though, we know some of the emotional stuff, but how can we still find that ease in the body so that then we can maybe handle more of the emotional stuff that's going on?
Okay.
It's like one thing and another thing and another thing. So it's like it all compounds, and then it's like a vicious cycle and goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? But it would be nice if we could at least, have ease with whatever's going on with the body.
That, and I'm thinking so many of the symptoms that people are listing, menopause, small intestine, gallbladder, shingles, heartburn, digestion, heart palpitations, sadness, emotional pain. I wonder how much of this is all of us just recycling the same problems that are already in our DNA for 14 or 21 generations. Because
Oh,
as you know,
wow.
science also has proved that unresolved trauma in our DNA can stay in our DNA for 14 generations. And I also heard 21 before too, depending on who did the study. But I think that whether it's 14 or 21, the number doesn't matter. So let me tune into all of you and start doing this work now. In all the places and spaces in your body, organ systems, meridians, chakras, all the places that hold past life information in your back, all the places in your DNA that hold all the traumas from living in a misogynistic world. So let's release misogyny since Adam and Eve.
That's a long time.
Misogyny since Adam and Eve. Right. And another interesting thing about the latest study in bone is that bone has a hormone, osteocalcin, that responds to growth, to brain development, to metabolism, and so many other things. So we release from our skeletal system all the pain, all the shaming we bought into, all the misogyny, dislike, all the misogynistic attitudes towards women in all past lives since Adam and Eve.
We've been through a lot. We've definitely been through a lot.
Yeah, all the misogyny in religion, even, well, there's a lot of misogynistic stuff in medicine. I worked in healthcare, and there's so many of the diagnoses and the cures for women and women's illnesses are just freaking misogynistic. So let's divorce ourselves from that paradigm and release all the projections and judgments from medicine, the medical world, the misogyny of this whole world.
Let's get back into touch with our bodies, who we really are, back into alignment with us and what's right and true for us, right?
Yeah, because when we get rid of all that, it also allows men to be gentle human beings rather than warriors fighting everything, right? Because they have to be warriors in that paradigm. We create men who,
Mm-hmm.
um, well, it's almost sad that what's required for success, you read it yourself in so many articles and magazines, that a person almost has to have a certain amount of sociopathic traits to be successful as CEOs,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Right.
all heard that before. And that's, it all comes back to, well, all the misogyny since Adam and Eve. That's all I can, right? I mean, all the misogyny, all
Oh, I'm yawning like crazy, so there's definitely energy moving, guys. So just breathe.
social oppression, like everything in the 3D world that limits who you are, who you can be, whether it's based on sex, or gender, um, or status, or class, whatever that may be. So all the limitations from the world that create you to experience more and more pain, let's release that. Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't do work like some other people that are just like, you choose this, it's all about you. I'm like, no, we're in a system that creates a hell lot of shit for us, right?
Yep,
That doesn't
for
make more
sure.
sense for sure sometimes. Yeah.
Yep.
And I know that on an individual level, there's just more blaming the victim. So I would never do that because I get it. All that stuff affects me too. And all the stuff I hold on to since Adam and Eve. And I am not even a Bible reading woman, sort of a person. I'm saying this is
It's
so
it keeps coming up. Keeps coming up.
but it seems to work. So let's see everything in our bones and our bone structure as well as a cellular structure that's holding into all the lies of a patriarchal system since Adam and Eve. Yeah.
Uh, well, we know, yeah, that's a belief that we fell from grace. We never fell from grace. That is another wonderful thing to clear for sure. Since Adam and Eve, yeah. No, I get
All
it.
the lies we bought into since Adam and Eve. Let's release
Yes.
all that painful shit since Adam and Eve.
I'm like cold all of a sudden. So I was like, oh my goodness, energy's moving. Keep breathing,
Yeah, a lot
people,
of you
be
might be
present.
vortexing if you're working with me for the first time or second time or whatever. You might be vortexing. And so all the energy goes to the core of your body, to your core organs, to recalibrate your energy.
Ah,
Yeah, I
oh my
am
goodness.
sitting next to my fireplace. I got my
Destiny's also
fireplace.
cold. So I'm not the only
I
one.
got my fireplace on,
Oh, yes. Nice.
and I'm sitting right next to it. So I got my fireplace, got my unicorns. So I have all the time in the world to help you all release anything and everything since Adam and Eve. I'm comfortable. So, how we created our
Oh,
hormonal system
goodness.
in response to all the lies that are part of the patriarchal world since Adam and Eve. Let's release all the lie we used to create our hormones and hormonal system. and reproductive system, all the lies since Adam and Eve.
So just get out of your head and just be in your body the best you can and breathe. And you don't have to feel anything. It's okay.
Yeah. Ooh, that's okay. So, however we created, well, okay, there's more stuff going on in the hormones and the hormonal system. So all the lies that we created in order to fit into a patriarchal world, let's release this from our master glands, pituitary, pineal, thalamus, hypothalamus, thyroid, parathyroid, pancreas, adrenals, ovaries. And if there's a man on the call, this will work for you too, because we've been men and women in our lifetimes, right? And it's a blessing to have men who are open-minded enough to allow this. We're cold because we just laugh out.
That's funny.
All the lies. Yeah. Let's burn all the lies that we use to create our bodies. And then especially any distortions in our perceptual field, right? So however all those lies affected your perception of yourself, we're going to release that from your eyes. And then visual pathway 1, and then we're on visual pathway 1. All the issues and visual pathway 1 that are created by all these lies we bought into. And visual pathway 2, created by all the lies we bought into, right? I mean, images that literally manipulate our sense of self are so freaking powerful. And I didn't even know until someone invited me to a drag queen show that I look at those beautiful drag queens and I'm like, how come they're all sexier as a woman than I am? And I realized the image of woman has been distorted to fit a certain type of a person. So all the models, they are like men in drag. You have to have that impossible body. It's impossible for us women to have. So literally manipulating that image of what a woman is so freaking powerful because it goes right to our subconscious. It hits us in that space. And as you all know, the subconscious mind controls 90% of us. So it's no wonder we have eating disorders and feeling like we're never good enough or perfect enough. Because in order to fit the idea of perfect, you have to be a man in drag. So everything that brings up, let's release all that. And not allowing for the conversation about sex and sexuality also perpetrates the idea of a perfect woman as a man in drag. It's just like, how insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
man in drag has exaggerated female organs. I mean, and they're false. They're fake. And no wonder so many women are getting fake body parts, right? To fit the image of a man in drag. So everything that brings up everywhere where we create ourselves and the false images that are manipulated by, I was going to say by the patriarchy. Yeah, why not? By the patriarchy since Adam and Eve. However, those images of us are manipulated, the perceptions. So all the perceptual distortions of woman and woman's body, let's release all that. all perceptual distortions you are using to create your body. And that's always going to be creating pain, right? So let's release everything behind that we don't even know we're manipulated to create ourselves in those false images.
So, Grace, how can we get back into alignment with our spirit so that, for so that at least, number one, we're not in pain, and number two, we can create the life that we desire.
Yeah,
with
and
more freedom and more ease, right?
Yeah, I think the first thing is allow yourself to have the awareness that you do have and honor that awareness. And it always comes back to a few simple things, right? Making space for yourself to be quiet and to really listen to your body, and then allow what comes up to come up without needing to repress it, without forcing forgiveness, without forcing any agenda on yourself, so that the listening is pure listening. And sometimes just being listened to without anyone trying to distort your narrative, that in itself is so powerful. I mean, it's like finally we are ready for the Me Too movement, because finally we are being listened to in some ways. We're not totally being listened to, but we are finally feeling safe about being acknowledged and being listened to. Yeah. So tell yourself you're worth listening to. And let's see what else is created from all these lies in order to fit into patriarchy. So from your upper backs and shoulders, everyone, all the external stuff that you burden yourself with having to achieve that's not even yours. External ideas and goals that's not even yours. Like I said, I mean, it's almost like sad that what's required to be successful in corporate America is that you have to be high on the scale of sociopathic traits.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do we really want to create a world like that and have just that way of looking at success and be defined by how much you can get away with as a sociopathic CEO? I mean, we don't want that, right? And you don't want to measure your success against that, because that's, I think that's pathology. I don't know. But okay, so all the emotional pains, all the hurts, all the abuse that are still in your backs, back of your heart, and then the total lack of support for helping you to see your own truth. And then all the fears about being seen, and all the disappointment with not ever being heard. So let's release all that. And valuing yourself is it's natural. So when you don't value yourself, it's because you have bought that from someone else. You have internalized criticism and judgment from somewhere else. So all that judgment, criticism we internalize that creates issues in our organ systems. Let's release that from our heart and lungs, from our pancreas, from our livers and gallbladders, stomach, spleen, from the whole mesentery, which is the new organ system Let's release all that. Oh. And as sensitive, intuitive, empathic people, you have all bought into a whole lot of things that are going on in the world that are there to manipulate you to see life from a space of fear. So all fear manipulations, all social viruses that are created out of fear. Let's release all those social viruses.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Oh. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as an infinite being, when you are in that space of occupying your infinite sovereign being, all these old programs that are constructed by like a patriarchal world, those have to go because what makes a patriarchy work is control and fear, right? So when we release, however, we are using all those lies to create our bodies, releasing all that allows us to really be in touch with the part of us that's totally sovereign that no one can mess with. Oh. Oh. And our hormones, it's like the chemical communication that controls everything. So when our hormones, we release all the lies that we used to create our hormones. Oh, it feels so much better. Oh. Oh.
So Mina's having a root canal treatment tomorrow.
Oh my God. Somebody 2 days ago just sent me a testimonial that the root canal she was going to have, her doctor did some healing on her, and her doctor decided that she can just repair all the damage and that she doesn't have to have a root canal anymore.
Mm.
So, package A, there's two things on package A that may be helpful. One is for toothache, one is for dental sensitivity. Well, of course, like a one-on-one session would really work, but I don't know that. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you want a root canal on Thanksgiving?
Oh, she's not in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
It's only Thanksgiving in the U.S.
Oh.
Mm.
So we're still releasing
Yeah.
limitations, limiting thoughts that we use to create our entire hormonal system. That's a huge system to release stuff from. But hey, it's worth it. Worth it. Release this from your thyroid. Okay, I'm gonna work on the parotid gland since that really helps with the dentinal fluid flow system within the teeth. So we may as well just include that while I'm working on thyroids to help Mina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh. And not only in this culture, but in so many cultures, women are not even allowed to enjoy their bodies. It's like everything in their body is supposed to be bring joy to a man or to procreate.
Mm-hmm.
So it limits us so much. And then we buy into all those lies so much that when a woman reaches a certain age in some cultures, this mastectomy, hysterectomy, and all that going on as if you already bought into that lie from a long time ago. Do you see how powerful that is?
Mm-hmm.
We release all those lies that create our bodies as objects of pleasure for the opposite sex only, and that when they're no longer interested in us, then our personal parts are given away or taken away. Because so many of the ways for taking care of cancer in a woman's body is to cut it all out.
Mm-hmm.
Mastectomies, um, hysterectomies, as such a normal everyday thing in the hospital. I work in oncology, and we usually get 4 or 5 patients from gynecological oncology every day.
Wow.
And it's very sobering to think about how powerful subconscious suggestions are, right? But they no longer have power over you when you become aware. So all those beliefs that create you to sacrifice any body part or to see yourself, create your body in the image of what the opposite sex wants. And we also subconsciously control men to want certain kinds of women. I mean, I don't know that all those models themselves starve themselves. It's not even their body. They have to recreate their body to be on those magazine covers, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy all around for men and women. For men to think that that's what they have to have as a status symbol, and for women to create their bodies as status symbols for men, otherwise they're worthless, right? Some women who do that to themselves, but instead of blaming them, I would say, well, where did all that come from?
Yeah,
So let's
absolutely.
uproot all that and release all those thoughts that created our bodies to malfunction at a certain age, right? Because that's what it does. Then the divorce rate goes up, and we think there's an explanation for it because our hormones are no longer satisfying the opposite sex. I mean, how F up, right? So we gotta say the fuck with all that because that's not a nice way to create our bodies. So let's release all that. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm doing the F bomb on your show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I get excited about this because I see so much of my work as just getting to the root of things. I feel like it's social justice on the level of energy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I feel like I'm doing because I I'm almost always bringing in those issues when I'm allowed. I'm not allowed to do that on every show. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for allowing, thank you for understanding, and for being you because it's wonderful to be so supported in this way of just being able to do work from all the angles that feel right to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're also picking up, what is going on for all of us who are watching or listening now or who will watch and listen later, right?
Mm-hmm,
So it's all good.
mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
so Linda said, I feel so much more peaceful and released. Good. So relaxed, calm, and peaceful. Destiny says, I could just pass out. Awesome.
F for fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Wow. Yeah. And I really wanted to be able to tap into that so that, you know, I know how even in alternative healing, I know how in alternative coaching, we are still manipulating and using the same narrative to control women. And it's no wonder that that the whole world of marketing knows that women buy stuff.
Hmm.
So they put out a lot of stuff to treat the superficial problem, like we need to care for our skin and our hormone and this and that. All those surfacing ways of marketing to women just solidifies that narrative that as women, we are here to be pleasure dolls for men, right?
I never thought of it that way, to be honest. So it's like, wow, it's like that is something that's definitely, out there for sure.
What if we can own our beauty just the way we are and feel powerful just the way we are? Well, because Alara, you're totally beautiful just the way you are. So you don't, yeah.
Hmm.
So what if we take back our narrative and choose however we want to be and not create our bodies and not allow our hormones to be so manipulated by culture?
So yeah, like right now too, like Fahad's mentioning, she needs some extra money, cash for this season. And this season, Thanksgiving is tomorrow for the US. And then, Christmas holiday season's coming up. And that brings with it a lot of pressure to perform, right? To buy the presents, to go to all the parties, to create a beautiful, magical time for everybody, right? That also causes a lot of stress and pain in the body because we can't always do everything that everybody expects us to do.
Oh, yeah. What would it take to release all those expectations? Societal expectations we bought into, unrealistic expectations we bought into, and everywhere where we make ourselves like a servant and a slave to all these freaking outside ideas. Oh, yeah.
Mhm. So I know Linda was asking earlier, can you do a clearing so that on pain per se, specific pain, but is that something that is even possible to do a clearing on pain when there's so many different types of pain, and brought on by all sorts of different things?
Yeah, I can. So let me do a quick clearing on all the different kinds of pain we're holding on to in our bodies. So that's all the trauma we're holding on to. Oh, everything we're holding on to on the cellular level, on the level of fascia and bones. Oh, all
Oh
the
my goodness.
unconsciousness that's trapped in our bodies, or the pain that's trapped in our bodies. Oh. And sometimes we forget low vibration entities. Leave our bodies now. We turn to the light. We turn to the light. We turn to the light. All low vibration entities. We turn to the light. We turn to the light. We turn to the light. All low vibration portals. We turn to the light. Let's close all that. We turn to the light. All low vibration wormholes. Close, 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 close. Oh. All low vibration issues you're holding on to the subconscious. Here we go. Oh.
Yeah, that's going deep.
Yeah, so let's dig deeper into the subconscious, all the ways we feel devalued by the world. Let's release all that. Feeling devalued, dismissed, disregarded. So let's release all that. All the non-life enhancing energetic patterns and non-life enhancing energies that in our energy fields and our field of beliefs. And all the subconscious ways we're still trying to fulfill all the unfulfilled expectations, unfulfilled potential, and unfulfilled dreams of our parents. Because as children of our parents, we always pick up on what our parents require because we needed them to be safe.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, this one's big for everybody. So let's do that again. So all the subconscious, unfulfilled dreams, unfulfilled potential, unfulfilled expectations. There's a word, unfulfilled expectations of our parents and anyone who we hold in high regard or who we think affects our lives a lot. So sometimes it can be children, it can be parents, grandparents. Anyone you're in a relationship with for a while. All those unfulfilled subconscious expectations in any relationship kind of create, right? And you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perceptual feel. So let me work on the visual pathways for you guys because when we release perceptual distortions, it's good to work on the visual pathways. So and let's clear that space some more so that you allow yourself to see and perceive greater and greater truths for you because you deserve to see the truth. And all the perceptual distortions that create you to not see your own power. Let's release all that. Because there's plenty of beliefs that are created to make you see others as experts and not you, right? So anything that controls your perceptual filters, let's release that. So all the conscious, subconscious, hidden ways your perception is being controlled. Let's release all the subconscious control now. God, that's a big one for all of us, right? Because everything around us, it's how marketing works. It's marketing is to control how you see and perceive yourself because everything you buy, you're buying into a fantasy version of you. So that narrative of you is controlled by marketers. So let's take back the control of your internal narrative so you know who you are as a divine sovereign being.
Mhm.
And of course, it's still okay for you to buy things to make yourself look nice and all that. But you're doing it from a different place. You're not doing it from feeling inadequate. You're doing it because you're celebrating your beauty, celebrating who you are, owning who you are, owning your power, owning your beauty, owning your potential. You're not being owned by
Mhm.
everything that's being marketed out there to get your money. And all the reference points out there that's keeping that narrative in place. Let's release all that because that's huge.
Yeah.
Anywhere where money can be made, someone is controlling your narrative because that's what's required for you to buy. That's how powerful everything is, right? Yeah, so all control. Everything out there that's controlling your internal narrative. Let's release all that. So what would it take for y'all to expand into that space of you being the beautiful divine goddess that you truly are? And really know you have personal agency in everything. So personal agency, let's expand that energy because that's feeling kind of weak. Okay, personal agency. So just say out loud to yourselves or say out loud wherever you are, I have and I honor my personal agency at all times. I
I
have
have and I honor my personal agency at all times.
good.
Said it all in one go. I have and I honor my personal agency at all times.
Oh, wonderful. Would somebody put that in a chat box for everyone? Thank you.
That
Oh,
was
thank you.
quick.
Thank you. Thank you. So, for those of you for whom this may be feeling weak, like for Alara, of course, she's been working to own her personal agency for so long that it doesn't feel weak to you at all. But for those for whom this is feeling weak, let's do this program together.
Mhm.
So, let's say out loud, I have and I honor my personal agency at all times. And then you're going to look in your upper left, lower left, upper right, lower right, back to upper left. You're making figure eight with your eyes. And then I know that for some of you, there's a direction that's a little harder. So look in that direction now, the one that's really hard. It feels like your eyes don't even want to go there. And then we're going to loosen up everything that's holding you hostage, keeping you from acting on your personal agency, because there's plenty around us that says you're not supposed to be so powerful, right? You're not supposed to speak up. You're not supposed to be so ambitious, and ambition in a woman is not sexy, not becoming, not this, not that. Oh, God. Oh, let's release all that. So for those of you who find it hard to look up in the upper right-hand corner, lower right-hand, upper left, lower left. Having personal agency is it's so important, to say the least. Oh. 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 Okay, so here's the thing about pain. Where have you allowed anything to be more powerful than you? So anywhere where you have allowed anything outside of you to be more powerful than you. Oh. Oh. And what if nothing in your life has that much power over you? Oh. Personal agency is, you know, you have a choice and you are able to make that choice for you and you are able to act on that choice, right? Make a choice, act on that choice, have what it takes to be choosing for you. Oh. You are the agent. You are the agent. The power is with you, right? Yeah, you're the agent. The power is with you to make that choices, to make things happen. It's not just choice, but to also make that choice happen. Oh. Like so many people are stuck in jobs and relationships. They don't know that they have a choice and that they have the personal agency to act on those choices to make things really shift quickly. It requires you to own your own power dynamically, dynamically own your own power and create choice where there doesn't seem to be. If you are really in alignment with, here's the word, in alignment, if you really embody your personal power, you create choices where there isn't any. So it's beyond just making a choice. As an agent, you create the choices where there wasn't any. You make it happen. Yeah, make it happen. So this fear of owning personal power, and that's what so many of us, right? I've been told too. It's like, who do you think you are? Why do you think you can make all that money? Why do you think you can charge that amount? Why do you think that you can be successful when other people have done this, this, and that, and they pay this for coaching and they pay that? Well, they may have paid a lot for coaching, but are they in the space of honoring their personal agency, honoring that ability to make things happen with or without coaching, right? Coaches have a way of getting you to see that you need them. That's how they sell their program. So, oh my God, all the coaches are going to be like, that bitch.
No, never.
Okay, yeah. So everywhere where you buy into the thought that you need to buy into someone else's thing to be successful, let's release all that. No, there's some good coaches out there. I'm not against them. But there's some that just want you to get hooked into them. And that's a little low vibe, right?
Or
So
sometimes somebody will tap into your insecurity or your, you know, something, that's going on with you. And, and that triggers your fear, and then you say, yeah, I definitely need that. Instead of being empowering, it's more like they're feeding the fear, that you have or lack or scarcity or whatever it happens to be. But
yeah,
when it comes to like choice, we were talking about choice a few minutes ago, and I used to work in the government, right? And so when you work in the government, you have total security, like why? And when I left the government in 2013, people were like, why? How can you leave? You have like security forever. You know, you have benefits, you have social security. Like, you're like, you're set. You know, you're crazy to want to leave. And it's like, yeah, I'm going. You know, and then and I
Yeah.
started doing the telesummit and my own healing and coaching and everything else. But if I would have stayed, I would have been miserable. You know, and it's like I had to choose. You know, and I had to choose what was right for me instead of what everybody else was saying was right for me.
Wow, that's the way to honor your personal agency. Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome.
So yeah, there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of insecurity, there was a lot of, oh, what the heck am I doing, you know? But I still had to always go back to me and say, okay, what's right for me, right? You know, and so it hasn't always been easy, but you know, it's like, yeah, it's like, and that was a big, big jump. And I jumped and I leaped, and it's like, you know, not always easy, and it is scary, but when you choose for you, somehow it always, you know, works out. But you have to continue to take action. It's not like everything happens by magic, but you still have to take action and listen to your knowing, continue to ask questions, right?
Yeah, always continue to ask questions because you never know what you're buying into. That's someone else's idea of what a future looks like, what everything looks like. And I remember a few years ago too, I feel like I want to create a Tele Summit too, and I want to make things happen, blah, blah, blah. And I did my little Tele Summit for a few weeks and made zero money because I did not know how to make money. And I realized that I was always butting into and wanting to do the healing myself. So of course, that was not a good idea. And that's how I realized, oh my God, doing a Tele Summit as a host is just not my cup of tea because I just want to butt in and do the healing. That's not nice to the speakers and blah, blah, blah. So I thought maybe I better just be a speaker. And I look at my YouTube and those few videos that were from the days when I want to do my Tele Summit, they hardly get any view. But when I'm in alignment with what I'm here to do, where I do videos just on a healing that I want, those videos get watched over and over by people, and they're still leaving me comments. So it's
Mhm.
like when you're in alignment, you have your way of making money. Other people would have said, look at the Tele Summit host, they're making money, blah, blah, blah. But that's just, that didn't work for me because it
And it's
has to
not
be
true for everybody. So
right, exactly. And so you always have to look at what is true for you, what feels right for you, what you're in alignment with.
yeah.
You just, yeah, otherwise you're not supported to be as fantastic as you can be.
And so, Caroline, if I were you at 11 months left into retirement, I would not quit, you know, the government at this point, you know? So I would
Mm,
wait it out. Definitely. Did you do overwhelm? Yeah, overwhelm.
well, we're buying into the overwhelm that's going on in the world. So that overwhelm doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
And Hannah, that fear of your personal power, is that yours? I don't think so. Right? So the overwhelm we're buying into, that's not even us.
Yeah, because, you know, could an infinite being be overwhelmed? No. So
Yeah.
whenever, you know, you're feeling overwhelmed, get out of your head. It's like you're in your head.
Yeah. You guys are not overwhelmed. I mean, you are amazing people who are able to tap into like all this high vibration stuff that we're doing. I mean, people who are closed-minded and overwhelmed don't get into things like this, right? I don't think they do. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to address Jennifer for a quick second. So Jennifer, you want to just breathe. She says, I'm feeling a dull knife piercing through the right side of my lower rib cage all of a sudden. Am I fighting what you're releasing? No. Why even put that belief in there? No.
Yeah, so
Just
let's
breathe and expand out. You know,
yeah.
breathe, expand out, just breathe through it. It's okay.
Yeah, so any past life memories that's showing up, let's release all that to the light. Good, wonderful.
So how are we doing, Grace? Can we take a few minutes and talk about the special offer?
Yes,
A
yes,
good
yes,
good
yes.
time?
Yes, I'm excited about this special offer
All right,
because,
so one sec. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. Those of you who are not, you can go to laura.at/show/Grace11. And I'm going to share my screen in a second. Oh, hold on. One
okay.
sec. I'll share my screen so I can show you all. All right, here we go. All right, so this is Grace's special offer for November. So package A is $97, package B is $147, and package C is $257. So let's talk a little bit about what's in package A. Oops, I should say 97. So what's in package A? There are 9 healing tracks, right, Grace?
Yes, yes. So, um, package A, and I'm just the one is no more headaches. It's to release all the patterns that contribute to you having headache. I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Toothache, I think toothache thing is self-explanatory. Dental sensitivity, yeah. So anything that is eroding your self-confidence and how you make choices, and we're going to download again the energy of enamels, and it totally works for people. I have testimonial after testimonial about my work with teeth and pain,
Hmm.
back pain, releasing all the karmic stuff and anything that doesn't support you, allowing you to have a strong back and feel backed by the universe. And shoulder pain, that's self-explanatory. Hips, knees, and ankles. And, it's self-explanatory, except that I want you to know how I work with that. So joints, hips, knees, pains, all places and spaces for making powerful life choices. And wherever you've given up on you, given up on your personal power, you got hip pain, given up and moving forward, you got knees and ankle pain. So it's to release all the self-betrayal, all the self-denial that's created you to fit into a very small space, whether that's in your relationship or money or life. And then healing broken heart, and again, that's a lot of that is self-betrayal, but there's also an intergenerational pattern to it. There's karmic patterns to it. There's past lives associated to choosing against yourself, which is what the broken heart is, right? Where you feel you abandon your dreams, your heart, yourself. So it's not just about the romantic stuff, it's also about the deeper issues of abandoning yourself. And
Mhm.
this reflects in your relationships. You choose someone who doesn't care about you because you didn't care about you, not
Right.
to blame you, but
Yeah.
to help you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no blame here in any of this. It's just the
Mhm.
choices that we've made, and being aware of some of the choices that we made, and some of the choices that we're not even aware that we made, right? That are affecting
That's
us.
the thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Releasing our subconscious stuff because that's like controls 90% of our behavior is what many people have said. You know, yeah, stomach aches. So if you have stomach ache, it's about nourishment on a spiritual and emotional level. It just shows up in the physical level as stomach pain. But there's a lot of issues here that we need to release around receiving and not receiving you, right? So if you are forcing yourself to be in situations and jobs and relationships where who you are just isn't seen and received, it really hurts your sense of self, your solar plexus. It's like not honoring you. So stomach aches are all the places and spaces where we make choices that really are not honoring us, or we're around people who don't honor and respect us. Or we're picking up on all the things that are going on. And then financial woes, like, oh my God, anywhere where you have pain, oh, doesn't it always show up in your money? That's all I want to say about that. You already know this, everyone. You already know this. That if you have chronic pain somewhere in your body, it will eventually show up in your money as well. Yeah.
So those are the 9 healing tracks in package A. And then package B includes all of package A plus 3 Zoom calls with you. 3 group Zoom calls.
I love these group calls where we really delve deeper into all the issues that everyone will feel free to bring up and share. So I always listen to what people want instead of just creating something that I can create, you know? So I don't create things out of nowhere. I create things in response to what you're asking for consciously and subconsciously. Yeah. Subconsciously. Can you believe it?
And then package C includes everything in package A and B, plus a 30-minute personal session with Grace. So what does that session with you look like, Grace?
So that session with me can be anything from working in multiple issues. So this is especially great for those of you who have multiple issues and you are seeing so many different specialists. You go to a dentist for your dental problems, you go to an eye doctor for your eyesight problems, you go to a cardiologist for your whatever, and the one-on-one session will help us really tune into what's behind all this and work on that. And then you see improvements in all the other conditions. And for some people, you may be a healer in hiding, and you may have a special activation that really allows you to hone into and embody your special gifts so that you can be a healer, but not in hiding anymore.
Right. Yeah,
So
not in hiding anymore.
special activations just come up as appropriate to each person. Yeah. And then we programming subconscious beliefs. I do that too. If that's an issue for you, if there are just flaw belief systems that keep on holding you back and putting you in this sabotage, that's so worth it.
Absolutely. So package A, B, and C, see which one resonates with you. And yeah, definitely. And if you can get a personal session with Grace, I highly recommend it because, you know, it's wonderful working with Grace. There are so many testimonials from people. Do you want to talk about a few of them, Grace? Some that are standing out for you that are coming to mind?
Yeah, like I remember
Yeah.
just a little while ago where someone was forced to work with me. That's what she put it. And it's someone dealing, and I don't blame her. She's dealing with Crohn's disease. And she was so depressed because what was the option her doctor gave her? To have an ostomy bag so that she will never have to deal with Crohn's again. It's like, that solution is more depressing than a disease sometimes, isn't it? To have an ostomy bag that will interfere with your intimacy, your dating life, and so much. So, because her friends really recommended her and kind of forced her to see me, I remember that after 2 sessions, like in the first session, she couldn't believe she can't even talk because all she did was yawn. So she didn't even have any way to like allow her mind to come up with all the reasons why Crohn's can't be healed, because her doctor says Crohn's, you're gonna have this, and then in a few years you might consider an ostomy bag, and then if you don't have to deal with it anymore and you're gonna have to have so much pain medication, and if you don't want to be addicted to it, then just the surgery for you. Like, oh my God. So after the second session, things have transformed for her so much. She said, She actually wants to go out, which she haven't done for many years because the Crohn's being what it is, it's just hard to go out and make choices and
Mm-hmm.
eat out and date, blah, blah, blah. And she said for the first time in her life, she feels like there's an end to it. And it doesn't have to end the way the doctors told her, which is like, oh my God.
Mm,
And I'm not
yes.
going to be like, oh, I cure her of this. It's not about that. It's just that she's at a point in her life where she's so ready and willing to try out a different way to look at it so that a powerful shift can happen for her. And it did. It was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow,
Beautiful.
that's
Awesome.
awesome.
So empowering.
Yeah. And another time was a father of a 16-year-old came to me because her daughter has leukemia. And I used to work in Children's Hospital, so I couldn't do those things in the hospital. But outside of it, he asked me on a weekend to help her out because the daughter, being leukemic, is already scheduled for surgery for an oral abscess. And they were like, she's already leukemic. She already has to worry about so many things and in a fragile condition because of chemotherapy and a zillion things that go with having leukemia. So I just did that session for him, whatever he wanted, and did distant healing on her. And on Monday morning, on a pre-op MRI, they didn't find the abscess. And when this father went to the hospital looking for his daughter, he goes, she was playing in bed. She wasn't band-aid up. What is wrong?
Hmm.
And he
Wow.
realized that they couldn't find the abscess on the x-ray and they thought they made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the doctor explained it. They were so sure she needed surgery that on a pre-op MRI, they couldn't find it again. And so they thought it was their mistake. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how to explain it as long as she was safe from surgery. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
all that matters. So it's that kind of a thing that keeps me going, keeps me asking more questions about what else can I create that would make a difference like that for someone or even a bigger difference. What else can I create and innovate? And I love just playing with innovations that make a difference because when you ask powerful questions about what else you can create that will be life transforming for other people, those things show up. The universe supports you and answers you beautifully.
Hmm.
So,
Nice.
yes, I feel so blessed I get to play and then I get to play with all of you who get me, and I get to play with Alara who gets me, and I get to drop the F-bomb here and there, and she's okay.
Absolutely. You're passionate. You're full of energy and you're in the moment. You know, stuff happens, right? It's all about being in the moment and whatever happens, happens. I love it.
Yeah, and I get to allow myself to do the social justice work that I always want to do, but on a very different level than people who go out and protest, right?
Right.
I just do it on the level of energy, and I am so passionate about social justice. Well, having grown up in communism, it just makes me look in the world differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm not going to walk away from my past because it has informed me powerfully on what else to do for other people to really create a world where people truly are free and sovereign.
And that's the thing that we've forgotten, that we are sovereign beings of magnitude. We are, you know, and we've made other things greater than us and stop us and limit us. And even sometimes, you know, sometimes even the pain that we're feeling in our body, you know, it is a sign or signal for us to sometimes, not for everybody, but sometimes take a deep breath, come back to center. Where are we? What's going on? What am I doing? You know, what's right for me? And, you know, and then go from there. But it is reminding us that something else is going on that we need to take a look at, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's almost very rare for anyone uh, that we usually look up to as doctors and healers to allow us to be the real expert about our bodies and ourselves. You know, very few people say, what if you know exactly what's behind the pain? And like a formal medical diagnosis is a good thing to have sometimes, but then you still owe it to yourself to look deeper into what else is this telling me about my life. Now that part doctors can't tell you because they can't be the expert about you and your life, but you can.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can.
And you are experts on your body. You are experts on your emotions, your feelings, your beliefs, all of that stuff. You have that inner knowing, but it's sometimes we are afraid to take a look at it. You know, we don't think we can, but we do know. And a lot
Mhm.
of times I will tell you, you know, if you just be still for a moment, get out of your head, go into your heart space, you know, be still and ask questions from there, you do know, right? And a lot of times we go to other people to ask questions, you know, and that's not necessarily invalidating us, but sometimes we just need confirmation. You know, it's like, okay, this is what I'm thinking
Yeah.
and feeling, but it's like, you know, is it really? And that's okay. But, you
Mhm.
know, tap into your knowing first. We
And that's
always
the,
tap into your knowing first, right?
yeah, the beautiful thing about having all those group sessions, like what that comes with package B or C, is that when we get to create a powerful morphic field that totally supports you to access more of your energy, because that's the thing. The safer the container we create, the more powerful the container we create, all of us rise together in that energy. And that's what's so special about sessions like this and group healing sessions. We create the space for everyone to rise together. I never create a space that's about, oh, you're the speaker and I need everyone to worship me. That sort of a space. I've been in those spaces before.
I don't know what those spaces are like. It's like, you know, take,
I've been in those before because, you know, I was taught to look up to authority. Well, in a
yeah,
communist country, it's a totally different world,
yeah,
you know. But
yeah.
we create that configuration of energy in different parts of our lives a lot more than not.
True. Good
So
point.
that's why in my healing sessions, my group sessions, I'm very conscious about how I create that space so that it's a safe container for all to feel you are contributing. It's an equal thing, and there's never a hierarchy of any kind where someone is the greater healer or someone is lesser. Because in a 5D world, the person who is able to receive the transformation is the way shower who's showing us what else is possible. So all of you who are in my group healing sessions, you are way showers who are able to receive and embody what is possible so that others can also see and receive what else is possible. And in that way, we are all playing an equal role in co-creating a powerful morphic field that allows more people to access their own power to
Mhm.
create change in the world. So yeah, it's
Beautiful.
going to be a blast to play with all of you, just like it's like right here today.
Exactly. No, that was so powerful what you just said. I love it. So thank you. And for all of you who are considering, just know that the Zoom sessions are starting in December. So not tomorrow, not this weekend, but in December, right?
Yes.
December
December.
7th, I think,
Yes, the
is the first
7th.
one. So it's not going to interfere with holiday plans right now. So not to worry about that. For those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving, um, in the US. And so for those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving in the US, you know, please have a wonderful, wonderful time. Enjoy all the food and merriment. Enjoy your family and friends. And remember those of us who are not having turkey. those of us who are not having mashed potatoes and stuffing and cranberry sauce and all that wonderful stuff. Yeah, me. So enjoy, everyone. Thank you so much. Please do, again, take a look at the special offers from Grace. They're available at alara.at/show/Grace11. And yeah, have a wonderful time. I'm so grateful for all of you who are watching now or later, or listening now or later. So grateful for all of you. I'm so blessed. Even though it's not Thanksgiving for me, I'm always so thankful and so grateful. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Grace, again, so much.
Thank
Always
you.
so much fun playing with you. I love having you on the show. It's so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I love playing with your beautiful tribe, who's always so loving and supportive. Thank you all for being here today. And I look forward to seeing more of you guys in the group sessions in December. And I wish you an awesome Thanksgiving. And I look forward to seeing, my gosh, what awesomeness we're all going to co-create together, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, radiant health, and so much more. Bye for now.
Bye.
Much love and blessings always.